Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Holly Esray Rose, and I have Dan Whiting and Denise Devine with me today. And we're going to talk about the Local Star Advocacy Program and things you need to know to be involved and how to get started, and kind of walk you through all of the steps. So we're going to go ahead and begin. So getting started. You want to be sure that you're creating a close, personal, and trusting relationship. And the best way and strongest way to do that is through getting involved locally and creating those personal visits, having those letters and telephone calls, and those really help develop these crucial relationships. People tend to pay more attention to somebody who's went out of their way to be a part of something than somebody they just hear from once in a while. So really getting involved is really important in this, and it really helps to build those key relationships and make those important connections. So let's look at how to get started with that. You want to start by collecting data. If you don't know who your elected officials are, you want to be sure you find that out and get to know more about them. You can find out who they are at house.gov or senate.gov. You can visit your local elected officials' websites and create a record from there. You'll want their phone numbers, the office addresses, including the one local closest to you, and key contacts, and that includes the scheduler's information. You want to be sure that everybody you're talking with along the way, that you keep a record of their information. So you're going to want to start a notebook or a file to collect all this data and keep it in so that it's handy for you to get to whenever you need it. When you're on the website of your elected official, you're going to want to sign up for their newsletters. That way you can keep up to date with up-and-coming town hall meetings, events going on within the district, and other local activities. Research what it is that your elected official cares about. What are their positions? And you can find all this information pretty easily. A lot of them have it right there on their website, but just doing a little bit of research can help you understand exactly where they are on issues. Be sure you stay informed. The websites congress.org and votesmart.org publish records of federal legislators' voting records in Congress. When there's a bill that's been identified, you can follow the history, amendments, and status reports. GovTrack.us allows you to sign up for email alerts on bills that you're following and know how your member of Congress voted. It's also great to connect with them on social media. So a lot of elected officials have Facebook pages. They're public pages. You can go and like their page. After you like it, a great tip is to go under the follow and click see first, and then it's always going to show up in your news feed. So be sure that you're following what's going on social media and follow their schedule as well. To follow their schedule this is Sherry Bustos here in Illinois. So for me to find a schedule of her work, I went to her page at house.gov, and under the About, there had her schedule of official work. So I simply click on that, and it keeps me up to date with everything that she's doing, when she's in the district, places I can go and meet with her at, and great ways for me to interact with her. Taking the time to build relationships with congressional staff and those who work in their local and state offices and district offices is really important. It really helps to build those relationships. The members in their offices represent the member of Congress at local meetings and events at times, and they also serve as caseworkers to help constituents with federal programs and benefits. So you want to be sure that you're inviting them to events as well. When you have something on your calendar, to be sure to let them know. You want to be sure that you're staying involved. Keep showing up to town hall meetings and show that you have an interest in what they do. Keep in touch. Phone calls, emails, visits to their office are all great ways to really get involved with them and really help build that relationship. So when we look at how to get connected, a lot of it starts with that very first phone call, and that sometimes is the most intimidating thing to do. It takes less than 5 minutes, and I know there can be some anxiety with it. You can find in our training manual, there's a direct link to both the Senate and House phone lists, or you can just call the Capitol switchboard and talk to and ask them to speak to your local district representative through that way as well. Telephone calls are an easy way to reach out. When you call them, you want to be sure that you ask to speak to your legislator. But if they're not available, take time to speak respectfully to whoever is available to talk to you. You know, we've said it a million times, and we can't emphasize enough the importance of the staff who work in the offices. They really are key people that you want to build relationships with, and they'll help you get connected. So be sure that you are very respectful and engaged with them as well. You want to identify yourself, your name, and where you live, including your state and why you're, including state why you're calling for them. Let them know what you're calling about. If it's about a specific bill, be sure you have that bill number ready, and be prepared to state your position and ask for their support. It's okay to ask the member's position on the issue because you really do need to know that. So ask them where your member stands and how you can help them learn more to gain their support. You also want to do follow-up telephone calls. And really, once you make that first phone call, all of the phone calls after that are so much easier. So, you know, once you get past that anxiety of the first phone call, it really does get easier after that. Social media can also be really effective for advocacy. A lot of people use Facebook and Twitter. You can tag your member of Congress on their Facebook page, or you can tag them on Twitter. You want to be sure that if you're tagging them on Twitter, you don't start out with tagging them at member of Congress. You want to start with something before their name. So, you know, if you the example we have in our handbook is with the president. So instead of just tagging at real Donald Trump, you'd want to do president and then at and tag, because that way it's going to be something that everybody can see. Denise is going to talk to you a little bit now about in-person meetings.
Okay, thanks a lot, Holly. It's great to be here talking to you about this subject. So in-person meeting, yeah, visiting your local district, takes some planning, but it is very impactful. I found I've done a few in-person meetings myself in local districts, and it's very relaxed. The member of Congress typically has a lot more time to spend with you, and usually it's just, you know, you, them, a member of Congress, and maybe a staff member. What I find too is that's a great time to get the business cards from the staff member so you can keep in touch, and definitely get a picture. That's awesome. So you get a picture. So it's getting a, you know, having a relationship on that level, because you're in usually your town close by where you live or in your town. And so you can even talk about local things going on, and make it very personal to the area. So it's important to remember of that, to do that. And so making the appointment is kind of the next step. So scheduling. Holly did show you on the websites of many members of Congress, the calendars there of where they're going to be or what events they're going to have. There's also, I know there's a general calendar for both the House and the Senate that you can see when they're on break and they're not in DC. I know that there's two calendars that are out there that you can also check that to kind of see when they're going to be around your district. So yeah, so that's very helpful, because then you can be very specific when you call. And you know, I always tell people that you know, the same meetings as anything. You see all the tips here. You know, be prepared, be on time. Same thing, if you know you're running late or something happens, please call the office, tell them that something happened or you are running late. Invite friends, invite family members. If you can bring your individual that has Fragile X with you, please do. That would probably be the best setting for them. Less stress. You know, same things as if you went to Washington, D.C., follow up with the staff member, with the member of Congress. you know, if you have materials that you can leave, that would be great. If you have, you know, ask the member of Congress, you know, please, you know, think of us for our funding to keep our research going. You know, tell your story. That's the biggest thing, because then you can get very personal of how all of these things affect your life. And I think it's the best thing. The self-advocate is the best thing to have there too, because they are very powerful people. We've had many on our Washington, D.C. meetings, and they are very powerful to be there with you.
Thank you, Denise. Dan's going to share a bit about letters and emails.
Hi, yeah, we're going to talk for a little bit about how to write to your member of Congress. It's an age-old method, and it still works. There's new tools. So a few tips is you can write a old-fashioned letter, and that probably has the most impact these days. You can go to the member of Congress's website to write an email. They're all going to use web forms to help sort out who's a constituent and who's not and what they're writing in about, just to make tracking easier and ensure responses are timely. So don't be worried about that. They all through their websites. So let's talk for a few minutes about what makes a really effective letter or email into your member of Congress. So first of all, I like to say don't be crazy. And so be respectful, be brief, so ask for a reply, and restate your ask so it's really clear what you're writing in about. So I will add another tip in here, which I actually don't have a training, but I just thought of, is that I think self-advocate letters would be really helpful here. I think from someone who is on the receiving end of letters for a number of years, seeing children write in letters and talking about, you know, what the federal government can do to make their lives easier was always really impactful, and it can make a bigger statement. Or if a self-advocate and their siblings, or a self-advocate with their class would all write in letters, those go a long way into making an impact. And something else to keep in mind too, as you're writing a letter thinking maybe it goes into a big black hole, is not only are these tracked and shared with the member of Congress about what issues are coming in, they're all read by the staff that handles those legislative issues. And so as policies progress and bills, you know, they're going to have in their mind, like, say an ABLE Act comes through, and are they going to vote for it or not? And what are the recommendations going to be? They're going to remember, oh yeah, we've had a bunch of people write in about how the ABLE Act could help their son or their daughter prepare for life after they turn 18. And so don't be discouraged. Continue to write. Continue to take action. A few things to probably stay away from is, you know, just don't write in just a little postcard. Those are generally relegated to the bottom of the pile because it doesn't look like people's concerns. And don't take on like a righteous note of, you know, I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. They're going to make that assumption, and it automatically kind of turns you off. And I mean, it's just in general golden rules that treat others like you'd want to be treated. So don't be rude and don't apologize for taking their time. I mean, this is their job, and they really genuinely want to know what people at home think, whether they agree or disagree with them. It's an important part of their job, and they want to know what constituents care about, so they know what they need to look at and to care about. And that about covers our letters and emails. So I think we're going to move on. And now we're going to talk about attending town hall meetings. So town halls have gotten a lot of media attention lately for being raucous and highly attentive, and people have certainly gotten a lot more involved in our democracy, which is great. And so, and town halls have been around for a long time, and just because you know, you got to remember the news is going to carry the ones that have controversy and conflict. So Don't be scared away if you don't like that. Remember, there's a lot of town halls that are happening right now that are just normal, respectful meetings. And that's how you're going to want to carry yourself when you're there. But first, let's back up a little bit and try to learn how to find out when town halls are happening. So Holly talked a little bit earlier about following your member of Congress on Facebook and looking at their schedule, and that's a great way. They want people to come to their town halls, so they're going to let people know about it. So they're probably going to post alerts on their Facebook page. They're probably going to include it if you sign up for the members' email alerts, which you can do on their website. And the Facebook Town Hall tool can help you find out when town hall meetings that are announced are coming to your area. So there's lots of ways to know, and also if you have a relationship with the local district office staff, they'll often let people know what's coming up. So once you get there, once you know what's happening, what do you do? If you're a self-advocate, that's great. So we realize that can be intimidating, but as Denise pointed out, the really, really effective advocate. But in any case, before you ask a question, you're going to want to know what you're going to ask. You're going to want to be up front and center and raising your hand quickly so to be sure that you're seen. And also keep an eye out, especially if the meeting's large. Look for the members' staff who are probably collecting questions on postcards or whatnot, so they can help sort through those. And a lot of times they'll group questions together so they don't get repeats. So what do you want to ask? You want to ask a little bit more open-ended questions. So don't ask a definitive, don't ask a question that just be answered with a yes or no. Say, for example, like, how are you working to support disabled people in education? Or, how are you going to support the ABLE Act or something like that? Be prepared quickly when 2 to 3 sentences if you're asking for legislation or has some other impact what that legislation does, and spend a lot of time trying to explain it. And make sure you understand their voting record and their philosophies to help you be prepared and how to ask questions. Some other tips, if you can, don't leave early. A lot of times sticking around, you can speak to the staff or the member directly and have more time with them. Again, find a staff member. They are great people to connect with. They can help you find out about other upcoming things. They can get perhaps go ahead and schedule a meeting with the member later. Might have time on the schedule when he's in that area or the next time he's in the area. Meet other people, meet your neighbors that are there, and they might find some common interests that can help you expand your coalition and work together. Get a picture if you can. We'd love to see those and love to socialize them so we can show our advocates out and about. And that's another great way to connect. Circling back with on the social media stuff, you can post that picture on your Facebook, tag your member of Congress, and it's another way to connect that, hey, we're here, look at, and this is who we are, and we want to be involved, we want to be engaged. And again, just getting back to the golden rule, just be polite and courteous, and you're going to go much, much further in your advocacy by following that golden rule.
Thank you, Dan. We are going to go back to Denise now to talk a little bit about local events.
Okay, so local events. Usually, yeah, if you have a date planned, I see the picture of the walk here. I'm sure that's planned way ahead of time. So you can get that information to the member of Congress's office. So there's a scheduler in each office. And basically, if you just call or contact them somehow, either email or calling, and just ask for the person who's the scheduler, and they'll know who you're talking about. And that's the person who is going to be able to tell you, you can say, okay, I'm having an event this date. Just wanted to let the member of Congress know. We'd love to have them come by and say hello. And, so that's a perfect thing. And the scheduler also would have access to their schedule when they are not in D.C., so that it could be a twofold phone call. But yes, call ahead as far as you can. If the member of Congress shows up, certainly take pictures. And send them information after. Send them some pictures of the group picture you take, or of some people that were walking in the walk, and send them those images after, because the offices really like to have those pictures because they post them on their Facebook page or on their websites, and so they really enjoy seeing the pictures that you've taken. And it's kind of a little bit, again, more relaxed atmosphere, and generally most of the people are local, so the member of Congress certainly will want to come and be around voters. So it's a great opportunity for them to attend a local event and support. So I really encourage you to invite people. I have myself invited my representative to a wine tasting I have, and he's come in the past, and it was a great opportunity to have him in a very relaxed atmosphere.
Thank you so much, Denise. And we'd love to see those pictures. There is an event form, there is a form online for you to fill out after you've had contact with your member of Congress to keep us up to date on what's going on. So you're going to want to be sure to use that. In your packet, in the training packet, in the PDF, there are also samples for you that we've put together on setting up an appointment, sending letters and emails, social media, and how to use the Facebook Town Hall feature that Dan talked about. We are all three here to help you anytime that you need us. So anytime you want to reach out to Dan, Denise, or I, we are here to lend you a hand and help you through this process. We're very happy to have you on board and look forward to working with you. So thank you so much for joining us today. If there's anything we can do to help, please let us know. Have a great day.